down and 2 at the 17.
False start. Offense number 82 and number 75. 5-yard penalty. Remains third down.
After the penalty, it's third down and 7 at the 12. Patterson's pass complete. Westfield with the reception. It's 1st and 10 for Carson-Newman at the 24. Jackson on the carry. Jenna Puja made the tackle for the Bulldogs. Gain of 2 on the play. It's 2nd and 8 at the 26. Wimbush on the carry. Jordan Carter made the stop for the Bulldogs. It's 3rd down and 4 at the 30-yard line. Tackled at the line of scrimmage. Trey Lee made the stop. It's 4th down and 4 at the 30.
Watch the ball, watch the face.
Drew Goody with punt. Darius Bowman is deep for the Bulldogs. Udy's punt is down at the 13-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Bulldogs at the 13. Johnson's pass is incomplete, intended for play. and 10 for the Bulldogs at the 13.
This time he'll drop back again. And he tries to hit Deshaun David over the middle, coming on the slant route. But David can't corral this one.
Field is an incomplete pass. Third down.
Johnson's pass incomplete, intended for David. It's third down and 10 at the 13.
So it'll be third down and 10 from the 13. Bowie State trying to spread out the defense here. Carson-Newman, 0 people in the backfield with Johnson. He'll take the snap. But we have some whistles before the snap, and somebody on the Carson-Newman sideline is not happy.
As you see it, a little substitution. 12 players in a defensive formation. 5-yard penalty, remains third down.
So Bowie State will get a little help with the 12 men on the field on defense.
And now third down and 10 becomes third down and 5. And Brandon, the playbook is wide open for the Bulldogs now.
It's open season.
As they'll go in the same 5-wide set.
Johnson takes the snap.
That's a free
we
play.
have some more flags.
It's a free play, Brandon.
And he'll have enough for first down yardage, but let's see what the call is here on the penalty.
There was an Eagle on the far side that jumped, and they let the play continue, which is a good indicator of an offsides.
See if the jury reached a verdict here.
Defense number 45. That penalties declined. The result of play is a first down.
So Bowie State gets the first down and then some. They will have another chance here to try to keep this drive alive. As Carson-Newman shoots himself in the foot again. Empty backfield with Johnson. Takes the snap, looking. Now he'll take off and run. Up the middle is Jerome Johnson. Makes one man miss, but can't get away from a tackle from number 20, Antonio Henderson, the senior linebacker out of Palmetto, Florida.
Antonio Henderson with the shoestring tackle, Rose. Jerome Johnson might have still been running, but when you go up against Bowie State, you always have to be aware of the quarterback run. Fayetteville State did a good job in trying to take that out of the Bulldogs' offensive game plan last week, but this is arguably their bread and butter.
Adam Gillis takes the handoff, and he'll take a big hit.
And guess who that was again?
That was
Antonio
Henderson.
Yeah, that was a big-time hit. That was a big-time hit. And actually, going back to something that you said earlier, Evan, just a couple plays ago, is that it looks like Bowie State is using what Carson-Newman does best on offense against them.
They're beating them with their own plays.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, this team does have the ability to run the ball effectively, but it helps out tremendously when you have a quarterback that's a dual threat like Jerome Johnson. And then the stable of running backs they have, oh my goodness.
I think a lot of people are looking at that football team up north in Baltimore.
Now that is a team that I will be happy to mention on this broadcast.
But I mean, I'm talking about just the quarterback position.
Yes.
You know, the quarterback position, the quarterback in Baltimore, the quarterback in Houston, Russell Wilson in Seattle. These type of quarterbacks are changing the dynamic. Robert Griffin III was supposed to be that before, So I'm just saying that I'm just saying that those are the quarterbacks now, and the offenses now that are being successful. And you got it more laundry on the. I don't know how many penalties that is right now, but this game is not clean. This game is not clean, which can't be good for either one of these coaches, because when you get to the playoffs, you can't be affording.
So this penalty will be against Bowie State.
These penalties will kill you. These penalties will kill you in a playoff game. These penalties will kill you.
You got to imagine that was probably one of Coach Wilson's keys to the game is to don't shoot yourselves in the foot with penalties early.
And we've seen in our first two broadcasts, Bowie State struggled with penalties. Granted, they still found a way to win, but penalties, like Professor Holder said, they will kill you. Johnson takes the snap, looking, steps up, throws downfield. It's intercepted.
And it's picked off.
Demarion McDonald with the pick.
He's still got room going on the left side, trying to get past these Bowie State players, and he's finally brought down.
Costly turnover there as Jerome Johnson tried to force the ball into triple coverage, and there was just nobody there except for Jamarian McDonald, who ran the other way.
Not a possession that Bowie State is going to be proud of. A couple of penalties. He's one penalty, a turnover. You got to. But the thing is, right now, gentlemen, they got to keep their composure. They're still up 9-7 in this game. You know what they can't do is have a play or an interception or something like that, derail them. Like when they scored that touchdown, they had a decision to make. Are we going to get down or are we going to, answer? This is the same way. It's the same way. They gave Carson-Newman some good field position, but, if your defense stops him.
Newman hands it off again, off the left side. Another good run on first down.
And that was
by Wimbush.
So the first play after the interception, Carson-Newman gets yards in chunks of about 13 and gets a first down. Now if you're Bowie State, this is the time where you need to come up with an answer.
Exactly.
Bulldogs have always found a way to answer back in games like this.
Man, you got the CIAA Defensive Player of the Year on your team. You got a couple of all conference players on the team. This is where the defense has to show up.
That was Troy Dendy on the carry. This would be 2nd down and 5 upcoming at the 24.
Carson-Newman's offensive line starting to do their thing, starting to open up holes and get yards in chunks on the Bowie State defense.
They'll hand it off again, this time on the quarterback keeper, and he will not gain any yardage. He'll lose some yardage on that play. Jordan Carter on the TFL. It'll bring a 3rd down up for these Eagles, who so far today in this game have been 1 for 4 on 4th down.
Yeah, as we've said up here in the booth, and as Bowie State says on those sidelines, they watch film every week, so they knew about Carson-Newman's read option. So they had a game plan for that as Jordan Carter shoots through into the backfield like a rocket to bring down Thackerson.
Another quarterback keeper, and this ball's loose. But Carson-Newman's able to fall on top of it.
This is what study does for a defense, right? You're looking and you know coming in that they like to do the option, like Navy does the option. So you can see they're almost cheating in a way, right? Saying, look, you're not going to beat us with the option.
It's legalized cheating.
Right. You're not going to beat us with the option.
You got Navy, Army. Speaking of Navy, when is that Army-Navy game?
That is usually the 2nd weekend in December. So we still got a little bit of time before that.
All right,
but going back to what I was saying about quarterbacks now and the offenses that have now been implemented, in Baltimore, in Houston, in Seattle, that's the kind of wishbone option thing that's actually working now better with the NFL. And you have these quarterbacks that are so versatile now that it is actually like another running back.
Absolutely. Field goal attempt is no good.
Short by Nate Kraft, and just like Bowie State just squandered that excellent field position they had on the last drive, Carson-Newman gets into field goal territory and comes away with no points. An excellent answer for the Bowie State defense.
Right, which is what we wanted. You make a mistake, but if they can't move the ball, and you said something very interesting, Evan, a couple of drives ago, that the Bowie State Bulldogs defense is like, okay, bet. It's on the one, so they're like, okay, bet.
I say less.
Right. Let's do this. We're in the middle of the field. Let's do this.
They'll hand it off to Wilkins on 1st down, and he will gain 4 yards on the play. 3.
And this is our 6th time broadcasting Bowie State's football team, so we know for a fact that they like to establish the run game early to try and wear out that defensive line and get them tired by the 4th quarter. It looks like that's the direction they're trying to go in right now.
So it'll be 2nd down. Johnson takes the snap, looking left. Avoids pressure. Now he'll flick it to Wilkins, who has running room. Has a blocker in front of him. Cuts it back inside, and he'll get brought down at the 30-yard line. Excuse me. It's the 30.
Fellas, I know we're not too fond of the Dallas football team, but this is a play that they run a lot, where they'll send their running back out as an extra receiver. Nobody on the defense has eyes on the running back. And now Jerome Johnson, in that case, quick, like easy short pass.
Right, and I love the way Jerome Johnson actually tried to run it and then said, I'm going to throw it. So he's really trying to keep him honest as well.
So when he steps up, the defense cheats in, and that leaves Wilkins wide open for the first down.
He'll hit Clay on a quick pass, and Clay lowering his shoulder, trying to deliver the boom.
He looked Desmond Farrell dead in the eye on that play and said, I'm not afraid of you, Mr. 305. Come get some 301 power.
You're matriculating quite the puns today, sir. I love it.
Well, when 305 and 301 are quite close together mathematically, you have some.
You know I don't like. You know I don't like math. Stop it. Johnson can't avoid.
Now,
pressure.
boys. It's a good football game, guys.
Certainly a change of pace from what we've been broadcasting this season, which has been rather one-sided affairs.
Pretty much they've been some one-sided affairs for about the majority of the game. Now, the closest game that we thought was going to be like this was when the Bulldogs faced off against Virginia Union. However, their misfortunes led them in a different direction.
Johnson's pass is complete.
That pass is complete. Jordan Clark.
He finally hits his man Gio, and they have a fresh set of downs in Carson-Newman territory.
And Professor Holder, when we were at PGCC Media Day yesterday, I believe one of the kids said he knew Jordan Clark.
That is correct. That is correct. This Bowie State football team, bunch of celebrities, man. Bringing in people, middle schoolers, high schoolers. Everybody's watching this team. Be smart with that, man. Be smart with that, young man.
He throws it away and might have hit one of the juices.
That's where you got to be smart. His talent is going to tell you one thing. Let me try to make a play, as you said. But the reality is, let's play smart. Let's play smart. You are up by 3 points, and you do not need to give the team another turnover. You just had a turnover on your last drive.
And it's like you said earlier in the broadcast, experience sometimes is always the best teacher for you to go by. Over the course of the season, we've seen him in certain instances where he's been in the exact same situation, and he does the right thing, still looking to pass downfield while avoiding pressure, but if nothing's there, just throw it away. Let's find another down. And we have a TFL here, much to the grim of Johnson, and Johnson is down right now.
The entire Bowie State sideline wants a penalty for a late hit on Rondro Peebles.
There was a late hit. There was a late hit.
And Johnson
is still down. That is not good.
It's third down. Sacked on the play at the 30-yard line.
So we're going to step away here for just a second here while the medical officials from Bowie State look at Jerome Johnson. You're listening to the CIAA Sports Network. We're back live here, and Jerome Johnson was able to get up and walk off the field on his own power. But checking in at quarterback for him will be number 3, Gaston Cooper, the veteran.
22 at the 30.
Redshirt junior out of nearby Silver Spring, Maryland. He was the original starter for the Bulldogs for the first 3 games of the season.
Cooper avoiding pressure, now goes upfield, and now he takes off running, makes another man miss, cuts back inside, and he gets back some of that yardage that they lost before Johnson had to leave the game.
On 3rd and 22, Gaston Cooper was doing an awful lot of dancing in the backfield on that play. Eventually ran upfield for 10, 15 yards, and it's 4th down, and decision time now for the Bulldogs. It looks like they're going to send out Gene Carson.
I like that for Cooper.
Gene Carson will attempt the field goal.
Now he comes in the first play. He's productive. He's productive. So you kind of like that for him.
So this will be a field goal attempt from Mr. Gene Carson. It is up. And it is no good.
No good. That's critical. You can't get down in a playoff game. You can't get down in the other team's near red zone and not come away with points.
Definitely have to come away with points in that situation. But both of these teams have had opportunities where they could have gotten points into enemy territory, but just weren't able to make or take advantage, of their opportunities. Definitely something that we might have to revisit late in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and both coaches can't be happy with the fact you want to be playing. You want to be playing clean football when you come down to late November and early December. You don't want to be making mistakes like they're making right now. But then again, when you haven't played another team and you're starting to fill them out, there's going to be something, and then there's the adrenaline as well. You have adrenaline as well.
Right. This is a big gain on first down for the Eagles.
That looks like Suit Johnson. He's 5'11" sophomore out of Rankin, Georgia.
So we said in the open, guys, that both of these teams are averaging near 40 points a game offensively. Is that happening?
Not yet.
Well, both of these teams are also good at preventing scores. Bowie State only allows 15.5 per game, and Carson-Newman allows 20.8. So the defense is putting on a show today.
No, sir. That's not happening.
Thackerson is brought down by Chauncey Jackson.
So let's go back to our plays of the game, our keys to watch. Let's reset our keys to watch. How are we working on our keys to watch that we established at the beginning of the game?
Our keys to the game for Bowie State, the big key was to keep the Eagles grounded. Carson-Newman likes to run the ball. The Eagles are ranked 4th in the country in run offense, so Bowie State wants to take that away and make them throw, because Carson-Newman is only averaging 116 per game through the air. And as for Carson-Newman, the key is to let your big fellas on the line open up holes, and let your running backs, let Mr. Antonio Wimbush and his merry band of running backs march up the field and matriculate yardage for touchdowns. And if you're Carson-Newman, you want a high-scoring game.
So for those keys to the game, I think both of them have been realized in the first half.
As we see up here in the booth, we can see Jerome Johnson is on the sideline with his helmet off. So we'll see what that means for his availability for the rest of this game.
In terms of the rushing attacks for both of these teams, Bowie State is over the 100-yard mark with 110 yards rushing in this game thus far. Carson-Newman it was just changed.
121, and Carson-Newman has 75. So Bowie State's
receiving yards. Bowie State has 121 receiving yards. Carson-Newman 75 receiving yards. Rushing yards, Bowie State has 85. Carson-Newman with 78.
So all you said there is that Bowie State's defense has come to play. All those stats that you just read, young man, that means Bowie State's defense is here to play.
Like they come every week, Ray.
Tyler Thackerson threw a jump ball in the area of Dimitri Morcell. That was a dangerous pass, and he's lucky it went out of bounds.
Yeah.
Because Dimitri Morcell was hungry for interception number 10 and possibly pick 6 number 4.
It looks like Thackerson's a little ginger with his walk and his stride. I mean, these defenses coming after both of these quarterbacks.
And that is absolutely true. And for Carson-Newman, Tyler Thackerson is a big part of the game, not necessarily for his throwing arm, but because of his role in the read option, which they like to run.
That should be a flag right there, not called. Watch off the play, number 82 and 44.
So it looks like there was a no call on Carson-Newman, but you know what they say, folks. Ball don't lie. As Bowie State forces a fourth down. Anyway.
If you ball, you get the call.
And that's just what the pros say.
There's definitely some pro talent being put on display today here in this game. But in terms of how both of these teams are performing as of right now, we have seen that they both have not been able to take advantage of opportunities where the one team has shot themselves in the foot as opposed to the other. And now we have another punt by Bowie State. Darius Bowman will fair catch this one. Oh, we have been graced with royalty. Let me be quiet.
No, I said if I was going to do this broadcast with you, I wanted to bring in some royalty at halftime. So Dr. Bro is going to join us at halftime to talk about Bowie State, talk about the football team, talk about just life in general. You know, I was on a couple of television programs this week, and Bowie State is one of those programs now that It's not a surprise now. Everybody knows about Bowie State, not just in athletics, but just graduates. You know, I'm so proud of you two, you know, coming from Prince George's Community College to Bowie State and doing so well. It just makes me proud, and I know Dr. Bro is going to probably say that at halftime too. There's so many success stories, not just in broadcasting, but in different walks of life.
Jerome Johnson's checked back into the game, and looks like he's able to run at full strength.
First play back after an injury, and he runs it himself. This man is not afraid. He came to play today.
He matriculated his way upfield with a couple of jukes.
Are we going to talk about how many times you used the word matriculated?
I mean, hey, you said that was the word of the day. You said that was the word of the day. So therefore,
we need to have a count, though. We need to have a count. If we're going to do that, I need you to have a count on how many times we're going to say matriculated.
Okay.
We're going to start it right now.
You going to start it now?
As we matriculate his matriculation count.
As Johnson matriculates this ball downfield, and it's caught by Deshaun David. And he'll have another Bulldogs first down.
I've created a monster. I have created a monster.
Yes,
I've created two
fault.
monsters.
It is all your fault.
And now we get to see Bowie State's 2-minute offense as they try and generate a score before halftime.
They'll go no huddle here, trying to get into the Eagles' territory to try to come away with some points before the half.
Added bonus for the Bulldogs. They get the ball to start the second half.
Johnson looking to get rid of this one, and he'll just fling it out of bounds, and this pass will go incomplete.
More laundry on the
looks
field.
like they're going to call intentional grounding.
Intentional grounding. Offense number 16. Never outside the pocket. There's no receiver in the area. Lost it down at the spot of the foul. Second down.
See, Damon, Coach Wilson can't really like this too much. I mean, how many penalties are we looking at? Can we pull that out? How many penalties are we looking at now for Bowie State?
As far as penalties, that was number...
This is number 3.
That's 3 penalties and 5 for
Carson-Newman.
So that's a lot of laundry on the field. You don't for a first half. That's a lot. That's a lot.
It is definitely a lot.
And what you don't want at this point is anything foolish with under a minute left in the first half.
Yeah, you definitely don't want that, especially when you've just been backed up into your own territory, a little deeper into your own territory. Last thing you want is for the unthinkable to happen at this particular moment in time.
But you know, Brandon, we've covered this Bowie State team all season long. We know they like to pull out all the stops, so expect a deep ball here for either Deshaun David or Victor Olienko.
Yeah, why not take a shot?
Subtraction. Please reset the game clock. 45.5 seconds. And it'll start on my signal.
Brandon, lean in. Dr. Bro.
So while we're waiting for some action, guys, as we talked about your keys to the game and how both offenses have been neutralized by these defenses. That's a good thing for both teams. So now when these coaches go back into the locker room, it's going to be interesting what they devise because somebody's going to have to create some separating room here, right?
Yeah, there's definitely going to have to be some adjustments being made here because you cannot get so many opportunities. Both of these teams have had at least 2 cracks at taking advantage off of a turnover and have come away with nothing. So that has to be addressed at halftime. Now, Bowie State's defense, they've been doing good. They need to be consistent with that. But in terms of their passing offense, they got to get something going here.
But what I kind of want to know is what was Antoine Sewell telling that defense after that touchdown drive? What were the words in that huddle?
Coach Sewell is a very passionate coach. I can't quite, put together what he kind of says in those situations.
Because whatever he said, it worked.
That looks like it's going to be it for the first half, fellas.
So it'll wind down.
Much to the applause of the Bowie State faithful.
But you know what, though? The Bowie State Bulldogs are still up. There's no need for them to hit the panic button. Just make some adjustments, keep doing what you've been doing on defense, and take advantage of the opportunities that you have.
Yeah, this hasn't been the best half of football for the Bulldogs, but they have done what they've done several times this season, actually. We saw it against Shaw. We saw it against Winston-Salem State, Virginia State, too, how they just weather the storm and managed to hold on to the lead throughout the first half.
All right, we're going to step away for just a moment here, but when we return, we will have an interview with Dr. Bro here on the CIAA Sports Network.
All right, we're back with Bowie State football here on the CIAA Network. Bowie State up 9-7. Lou Holder here with two very, very important guests to Bowie State, not only university, but athletic programs. I have Dr. Bro, the president of Bowie State University, and the vice president of athletics and recreation, Clyde Dowdy, joining me here at the at halftime here at the CIAA matchup here. And Dr. Bro, I want to start with you. Obviously, this has been a great run athletically for Bowie State, but as a whole, Bowie State is really, when you came in, your goal was to put Bowie State back on the map in a bunch of different areas, and the check marks are popping off all over the place as far as Bowie State being one of those universities now that is back on the rise in so many ways. How proud are you that everything is coming together, not only athletically but off the playing surfaces as well, that the Bowie State community is really being recognized for not only on the field but off as well?
Well, I'm extremely pleased and very, very proud to serve as the 10th president of Bowie State University. There's so many signs of excellence across this campus throughout the year, and today is one shining example. Looking at the Bulldogs take to the field today after their championship win last week is just amazing to see their run being undefeated. Our coaching staff is just the best, and our team is truly showing up as a full team. When I look at how they've come together this year to have an undefeated season, I couldn't be more proud. And our athletic teams are excelling. We have a championship bowling team. Each one of our teams has done very, very well. And then there's so many signs of excellence in academics across the campus. And this week, we opened up, we had another first for Bowie State University. We opened up the first experiential learning cafe in a new partnership we have with a company called Saxby's, where the students are running the entire operation. So these are just some of the many, many signs of excellence as part of our Racing to Excellence vision. So I couldn't be more pleased and more proud than I am today.
That's excellent. When you talk about students getting a chance to run certain things, the practicum and the programs that the students are getting to get real life experience before they go out in the working world is great. And you need a university to have a laboratory like that they can do.
Exactly. It's right here on the campus, and as a result, there are 45 students who were hired, including a campus CEO who's a student. He's able to garner experiential education right here on the campus, real-world learning experiences. He trained for the summer months. He's getting internship credit for that. And he'll be able to leave this university, put that on his resume to say he not only ran the front office, but the back office operations, doing profit and loss statements and what have you. So, I mean, there's this great excitement throughout Bowie State University that's garnered wonderful community support. Today, we're very pleased to have with us, cheering on the Bulldogs, the Lieutenant Governor Boyd Rutherford is in the stands today, coming out along with local community leaders and elected officials and others that are cheering on the Bulldogs. So I think that's a true testament of what we bring to this community and throughout this region. We have a huge value that we provide.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Mr. Dowdy, we were talking on a television program earlier this week about how you were at a hotel, and the people at the hotel said, we've never had a finer group of young men in our hotel. It's got to do your heart good as an athletic director, as a VP of Athletics and Recreation, to know that you not only have good athletes, but they're good students and good men and good women, and they get it, right? They get it early, and they're not embarrassing you or the university in any way, and you can hold your head high. Not only are they getting it on the field, but they're getting it in life as well.
Yeah, we are working with our young men and women to build great citizens, because the next level when they leave Bowie State University is to represent themselves in the corporate world and other endeavors that they're going to partake in. So it all starts here. People sometimes say when they get to the real world, well, this is their real world right now, and they have to start and focus and be prepared. And the leadership that we have at the university allows that to happen, because they give back to them and instill in them the values that they need to be successful.
Both of you, when you see a game, I know both of you, you're cheering for Bowie State and you cheer for the team, but I know that you both are athletic and sports fans as well. Does a part of you go back to your childhood and you're yelling and screaming like, yeah, or you know the kids and you know the game and you follow the game? I've seen Dr. Bro on the sidelines
almost running down the field.
I've seen you too. How cool is it when you're there, not only when you see the kids, but you know the game, to be like, oh, that was a penalty, or no, or, how is it?
Well, it's not, you got to have that passion. It comes through. And, yes, you hearken back to younger days, and sometimes, yes, you'll see me almost running down the sideline. But that's the passion I have for watching the game, but watching our team really put their all out on the field, and you got to be excited for them. When you see them working so very hard throughout the year, and they're student athletes, they're balancing the academics, they're balancing the sport, and they're doing it with such poise and grace and excellence. So you got to cheer them on. That's what I feel every day. That passion that they bring to the field, you got to be right there racing with them.
How about you, Cool Max says? I mean, you're all over social media.
Dr. Bro and I are a long way from participating in athletics, but this allows us to be connected to the sports from a wide range of genres, from bowling to volleyball to football to basketball, and we're really excited about the enthusiasm that the young people have, and also to our fans and our support base that come out and support. And it's nice to see the crowd out here today, enthusiasm, talking about hold that line and let's go O-line, let's go D. So it's all about Bulldog Nation. Yeah.
And I think, I grew up in a sports family, a track and field family, and we'll be honoring at our commencement ceremony on December 13th the oldest living Olympic athlete, Mr. Herb Douglas, African-American, who is 97 years old. And so we celebrate sports, we celebrate excellence, and that's each and every day around here at BSU.
Wow. Well, Dr. Bro and Clyde Dowdy, I want to thank you so much for joining us. For somebody who's covered sports and been in this area for almost 20 years, I just want to say, on behalf of a lot of people who know sports and know excellence and know quality in education, thank you so much for making Bowie State one of those stories that needs to be covered. Me and all the other broadcasters here in the Washington, D.C. area, Bowie State's on notice that this is a place that you want to come and to see good stories, not only on and off the athletic surfaces. I want to thank you for taking time, and thank you for making this somewhere we can be proud.
Well, it's been a university that's been around for over 150 years, founded in 1865, the first HBCU in the state of Maryland, and we want to continue to honor that legacy. And so each and every day we're going to give it our all. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you, Lou. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. All right, so it's Dr. Bro and Clyde Dowdy joining us at halftime. It is 9-7 Bowie State at halftime. We'll be right back.
Saints, it is time to have service. Okay, so Daryl has something that he wants to vent to you all. I'm going to let him just take as long as he needs.
So they trying to hype me up for a little bit, but if you've been watching the game and you've been seeing that there have been some, we're going to say, interesting calls by the officials, and I've been sitting out here in the crowd, and this crowd's about ready to riot. We've already had two blatantly blown calls. We had the roughing the passer that should have been called when Jerome Johnson got dogpiled there earlier in the second quarter, and then we had the holding call that wasn't called. That play ended up going for a first quarter. There's been a lot of interesting referee calls, I will say. I'm not going to go too far off the deep end because we just had the president here, and I ain't trying to get nobody in trouble, but it has been an interestingly called football game, and not in the way that a lot of Bulldogs fans like so far.
But I had said this earlier, man. I think you might have, well, you didn't catch it. But I said that both of these teams had two opportunities, right, to try to get some points off of turnovers. In a playoff game like this, you need those opportunities and you need to take advantage of those, because come late in the fourth quarter, that's going to come back to bite them.
Well, you're exactly right. Well, Bulldogs missed a field goal. Should be 12-7 right here. Was with a missed field goal. They got the turnover off the muffed kick that should have been 6 down here. That was another one of the calls that the fans didn't exactly like. But then the Bulldogs have shot themselves in the foot because we had receivers not holding on to the ball. We had a wide open pass go through the hands of Montez Clay. We had Darius Bowman bobble one that, okay, he was in deep traffic, but he should have brought that one in. That would have been a first down as well. Then also penalties with the false start and them leading to the interception. Both of these teams have shot themselves in the foot, but because the defenses have been playing strong, they haven't been really hurt either team at this point. But for the Bulldogs, it's 9-7. It should be more. You've got to look at the second half. They have got to take advantages of the mistakes that this defense is causing for the offense.
Adjustments definitely have to be made on both sides of the ball. I feel like the special teams definitely have to answer some things and rectify some things. The defense has been getting after it. They may have been gashed back for a run of 10 yards, but on the very next play, they're recording a TFL by either Joshua Pryor or by Jordan Carter. Or by one of the
that's going to happen because this Carson-Newman team, they run the ball 73% of the time. So, yes, they're going to get yards every now and then, but it's what you do after those plays. And as you said, Brandon, correctly, this defense they bit down. They've been able to cause tackles for loss. They've been able to cause havoc for the Carson-Newman offense. And you've really turned them, I would say you're turning them one-dimensional, but they just run the ball anyway. It's very Army-Navy game-esque with their offense. But you're really making it so that their running game is not effective. They're going to have to pass the ball, I think, if they're going to be successful, and that may play well for the Bowie secondary.
It definitely will play in the Bowie secondary favor because that's a secondary that has some very sticky hands and has a nose and eyes for the ball. It's a well-coached team by Anton Sewell, who just gets these guys ready to go each and every single week. But I definitely am interested to see what adjustments they make in terms of how they scheme and how they attack. You know, what is there going to be some adjustments in what they read in terms of their keys? Is there going to be a different flow, you know, as Carson-Newman likes to send the tight end in motion? Is there going to be a shift when that type of play happens? What are they going to do to make sure they not get beat over the top again after they scored their first touchdown on their second offensive series?
And that's really been the only pass for Carson-Newman that we've seen is that 63-yard touchdown strike. Other than that, it's been a lot of runs, a lot of short passes and screens. So they have not really tested the Bulldogs downfield that often today. So it's interesting to see. That's what I want to see in the second half. Will they take more chances to go down the field?
I think that, you know, it's going to come to a situation where whoever has the ball the longest is definitely going to win, because this is no fancy football. This is just basic fundamental football that they're playing here. Hence why the score is so close as to what it is right now. They haven't been doing nothing really fancy. They just have to go out there and execute. And what will also help too is if this game being called straight down the middle. Just straight down the middle. Because over the course of the first half, it looked like they were leaning a little bit this way as opposed to that way.
And that's one thing that these Bulldogs fans will let these refs hear about in this second half. There are a couple of calls that should have been made that weren't made. You heard loud jeering from this crowd. So they will do their best to try and keep the refs honest as well. But at the end of the day, the only way it's going to happen is if the refs use those flags that are in their back pocket.
But at the end of the day, though, Bowie State has the ball to start the second half. This is going to be a huge possession right out the gate, because if the Bulldogs score, they go up 2 scores. Now all the pressure's on Carson-Newman. One would think they would almost have to throw in that situation.
I think the pressure's already on Carson-Newman because the Bulldogs have such a home field advantage here. This crowd has been loud. It's been animated. It's definitely not like that first game that we did with the playoffs a couple years ago.
Not even remembering that game. How about the entirety of the whole season?
Yeah.
I remember during the times when me and you were calling games and I could not hear a hey or a yay to save my life. But all of a sudden today.
Now, Brandon, I'm with you, but you got to keep in mind, we got 3 minutes left before the second half. So,
yeah. Hey, the truth is going to come out, church, whether you like it or not.
I mean, it's the
Can we get an amen?
Amen.
It's the D2 playoffs, and the crowd is showing up. Hey, I don't want to take too much of you guys' time. You're doing an excellent job this season. The Bulldogs have been doing it as well, and I'm really hoping that we're celebrating a win at the end of the day.
Okay, but Darryl, before we go, Bowie State's football team is not the only team in action today. The women's basketball team in action right now in Winston-Salem. They trail the Rams 21-20. So my question is, Are we going to see you at any women's games this season?
I'm going to try to be. We don't have a lot of conflicts with Maryland basketball or work either. So I should be I'll be at a couple of those games. Definitely will be.
Well, the women return to Bowie on Wednesday against UDC. So tip-off is at 5:30 if you want to come through.
I'll try. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll catch you guys at the beginning of the third quarter here on the CIAA SN Network.
Like, that was way after the play. I don't know how that wasn't a penalty. That was way after the play. Saints, it is time to have service. Saints, it is time to have service. You should have seen him last year on homecoming when the GGs was coming out.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back for second half action between the Eagles of Carson-Newman and the Bulldogs of Bowie State University. Olayinka will return this one going to the right side. Mason Man missed, stays on his feet, and did a twirling loop-de-loop until he was brought down at about the 30.
Yes, Ray Artybridge went all in trying to take out Olayinka, and it looks like he's still down on the sideline. But what a nice run, nice return to spark good field position for the Bulldogs, and this is how you want to start the second half.
Victor Olayinka, one of the playmakers for this Bulldogs offense, and we've called his name numerous times over the course of this season. And I had a chance to, get a little closer to him last week during the championship game down in Salem, Virginia, right? And I'm thinking he was going to be this big presence that just captivates me, right? This guy is probably about maybe your height, just a little bit more cut up. I was like, wow, okay. But his athletic ability, off the charts.
Oh, Victor Olayinka, 5'10", 165. He's not necessarily known for his size. It's his speed that gets that always gets opponents.
And then his ability to high point the ball.
And the scariest thing about Olayinka is that he's able to make plays at this level, and he's only a freshman.
That's scary.
All right, second down and 4.
Johnson will take the snap, and he'll keep it, trying to go up the gut here on second down. He'll gain 2 on the play.
Well, the play was to try and fake them to make the defense think they were going to Khalil Wilkins, and then Johnson keeps it himself and goes up the middle for 1. Third down and 2 coming up for the Bulldogs. Interesting to see what they call here.
So it'll be third down and 2 for the Bulldogs. And so far today, they're 3 of 8 on third down conversions. Johnson trying to avoid pressure, and he won't get away from the Eagles. Bulldogs will start the second half with a 3 and out.
That play was just doomed for the start, and you got to give Jerome Johnson credit for not trying to heave that ball out in the last-ditch effort, because that might have resulted in a turnover had he done that. And it looks like Carson-Newman's going to try to block this one.
Wimbush is back deep to receive. But this time it'll be returned by number 2. Looking for somewhere to go, and he will get brought down by a couple of Bulldog defenders. The special teams making a play, pinning them deep into their own territory.
That was John Johnson, the first one there to wrap his arms around Desmond Farrell, slow him down, and then take him down. What a play on that return by John Johnson, the 5'10 senior out of nearby Washington, D.C.
So they'll have to start this drive from the 19. Bowie State's defense had a little bit of time to rest. So now we'll see what adjustments have been made. And they'll go with a quarterback option on first down, and he is brought down by Wantez McCray.
Well, Tyler Thackerson's been trying to run the read option all day, but Bowie State has known that's in their playbook, so they've keyed in on it all day and managed to stop it at the line of scrimmage for a minimal gain just about every single time the Eagles have tried it.
The line gets set. Tight end goes in motion. And they'll hand it off up the middle. And McCray on the tackle again.
They tried the quick handoff to Troy Dendy to catch Bowie State's defense sleeping, but the Bulldogs were on it, and they brought him down short of the line of scrimmage. It's now 3rd down and 2. Big play defensively here for the Bulldogs.
3rd down and short coming for the Eagles.
And Carson-Newman is 1 for 5 on 3rd down today.
We'll see what Coach Sewell has dialed up. So they hand it off, and he has first down yardage and more. Bulldogs defense couldn't keep him to any type of minimal gain on that play.
That's Troy Dendy, and that's what he's been doing all season long for Carson-Newman, using his explosive speed to break through holes and make plays as he moves the chains right there for the Eagles. And here's another read option.
And the reaction of the Bulldog faithful, they wanted something different on that play.
It feels like the defense thought that Tyler Thackerson was down before he let go of the ball, which is why they stopped pursuing him, and Sharon Jackson was able to capitalize on that and move the ball for 5 yards.
So it'll be 2nd down and 4 coming up. And we have a Bulldog down. That's William Flowers III.
William Flowers, a 5'10 senior out of Baltimore, Maryland. He is a key member of this defensive backfield, and we are going to step away. 9-7, Bowie State leads Carson-Newman. 10:48 to go in the 3rd quarter. You're watching the CIAA Sports Network.
And we are back live just in time for a 3rd down and 4 for these Eagles of Carson-Newman.
As on the last play, Jackson was stopped at the line of scrimmage. He lost the ball, but the refs ruled that he was down, which creates this 3rd down.
Wimbush trying to get around the corner, dive for it. Depends on where they spot it. He's right at the marker. 1st down, Carson-Newman.
Oh, they gave him. That's a generous spot. A generous spot. I think Wimbush went down a yard short.
So they have a fresh set of downs here, inching ever so closer into deep Bulldog territory, and they'll pitch it this time to Dendy, and he'll gain some yardage on this play for about a gain of 3.
Well, they try the read option again. Carson-Newman is really dying hard on that read option today, and Bowie State sniffs it out again as Dendy does what he can, but it only comes out to a 3-yard gain.
Sound like you got some exercise there, sir. Oh well, I've had my business put out in the street by some others. So Dendy takes it up the gut again on second down. So it'll be 3rd down and 3 at the 39.
Well, Troy Dendy has made his name known all day today. He's gotten the chunk plays for Carson-Newman when they needed him.
And the handoff to him again, and he will have the 1st down again. And he's still being – Bulldogs were still trying to bring him down, but he just kept moving his legs from fighting for more yardage.
Well, Troy Dendy's not that tall. He's only 5'8", 180, but he is a tough dude. He reminds me of Chris Thompson.
You're talking about CJ 2K, Mr. 4'2"?
No, Mr. CT 2'5".
Did you say Johnson or Thompson?
Thompson.
Oh, okay. Handoff up the gut again. And that's Wimbush. Makes one man miss. And he's finally brought down at about the 10.
This is what they do. This was the scouting report on Carson-Newman coming in, gentlemen, that they're going to run the ball and they're not going to abandon the run. They're going to keep running the ball until the game is over. So the Bowie Bulldogs are going to get more of this.
Another handoff, and that's to Dendy. And we have some more dirty laundry on the play.
Another big portion of this is Bowie State has not been tackling well on this drive.
Yeah, they definitely haven't been wrapping up very well. So this will set the Eagles back some. So now they'll have a little bit more work to do. It'll be 1st and 20. So Bowie State gets a little bit of a break.
This may be exactly what the Bulldogs needed after Carson-Newman was putting together tough run after tough run on this drive, and now they're back in a situation where running might not be ideal.
Down and distance play coming up. So instead of being near the goal line, they'll be backed up to the 23. They'll send the receiver in motion. And they will get met at the line of scrimmage by a bunch of Bulldog defenders. Leading the charge was, guess who? My player to watch for the game, Joshua Pryor.
The super sophomore. The one-man wrecking crew. This man is all CIAA twice for a reason, and he proved it right there.
And he was MVP of the championship game for a reason as well.
Second down and 20. If you're Bowie State, you pin your ears back now.
And they try to pitch it, and Wimbush can't corral the pitch.
You see, they almost got to the quarterback before he was able to pitch it. They almost got to him. You can see.
I think they did get to him.
You could see it happening. You could see it happening.
He matriculated the toss.
Another tally, Evan. You're keeping them?
That's 2.
No, that's more than 2. That's 2 in the last minute.
Evan's
You're right. Add another
good
20
at
to
math.
it.
What happened?
Add another 20 to make up for lost time. But Carson-Newman once again moves the ball down the field and then backs up and then is backed up by a penalty. Now they're backed up by a negative play, which was almost a turnover.
3rd down and 22.
3rd down in Bulldog Stadium.
Ball is incomplete. Thackerson was looking to hit the running back coming out the backfield, but he could not complete the process of the catch.
And now it looks like Carson-Newman's going to try a field goal to take the lead, regain the lead, rather. That is Nate Kraft. He is 0 for 1 today, but this one's short. This one's a shorter range.
This will be a 47-yard
Bowie's coming after
kick.
this one.
It's up. And it's good. So the Eagles take a 1-point lead with 6 minutes and 11 seconds left to go here in the 3rd. There is still a lot of football left to be played. Don't touch that dial. We will be right back after this short break here on the CIAA Sports Network.
Que a veces era amargo. Está buenísimo.
On the return, but on this play we will not get one of those hurdles that we have seen so many times in his returns. I don't know if we got you hip to that or not, but Mr. Boone is one that likes to throw caution to the wind.
Got you.
He's not afraid to go up high, even if you're somebody my height.
No fear is what you're saying. Another gut check moment for the Bowie State Bulldogs.
Yeah, this offense definitely has to come away with something on this drive. As Johnson drops back. Now he'll take off running off the right side. He has a blocker. Almost gets caught by the turf monster as he's brought out of bounds at about the 49.
There were just no white jerseys around Jerome Johnson on that play. The only person that could have stopped him was the turf.
Chunk on first down.
Yeah, and again, this quarterback has shown me a lot. I mean, obviously, he's played well over the season, but playoff football is different than regular season football. And to see how he's a number of times been in moments where he's had to make some crucial decisions, and he's done well. Has done well for himself. So they'll hand it off to Wilkins, and he's fighting his way upfield through the teeth of this Eagles defense. And Wilkins gains about 5 yards on that play.
And that's what Khalil Wilkins does so well. He'll just get the ball in the backfield, make a quick cut, and that's automatically 5 yards up the field. And that's why he's one of the best running backs in the CIAA. That quick cut is just so hard to defend against.
Second down and 6 at the 48-yard line of Carson-Newman.
So it'll be second down and 6 for this Bulldogs offense. Split backfield for Johnson. Hands it, fakes it to Adam Gillis. Now he'll try to evade pressure, and he'll dump it to Gillis, who has running room up the left side, runs over one man, and walks out of bounds for another Bulldogs first down.
Watching that develop from up here in the press box is very nicely done. You know, he surveyed down the field, knowing out the corner of his eye he had that safety valve, and he took it.
After the fake to Gillis, Carson-Newman thought that Jerome Johnson was going for the home run pass. Nobody had eyes on Gillis, so he's wide open. He gets the ball. He takes it near the red zone for the first down.
And didn't that happen in the first half as well?
It did.
Something similar to that happened in the first half as well.
Seeing some deja vu.
Deja vu all over again. And now, just after Carson-Newman kicked the field goal to retake the lead, Bowie State already in field goal range.
This third quarter, I was about to say fourth quarter. This third quarter is definitely flying by. Now at 4 minutes to go. High snap, but he's able to corral it, and he gets it to his target, Deron Smith.
Deron Smith, another senior out of right here in Bowie, Maryland. He's a hometown kid. I actually grew up with Deron Smith. And he might not be big, but dude's another quick one. So Bowie State has a lot of speed on that receiving corps you got to keep an eye on. Third down and 2. Anything could happen on this play. The playbook is wide open.
They'll go empty set here. 3 receivers to the right, 2 to the left.
That doesn't rule out.
Look out for the draw. And we have some flags on the play.
Can we have a tally not only on the word matriculation, but can we have a tally now on penalties in this game?
And
that is Bowie State's 4th penalty of this game.
For how many yards? Can we update that?
Third. I'm waiting for it to be updated, but as soon as I have it, I'll get it to you guys.
So that's 4 penalties. You have 4 or 5 penalties?
In that ballpark.
And Carson-Newman also 5 penalties?
Somewhere in that neighborhood.
Be smart with the ball, young man. Be smart. Live to play another day.
And he will take the sack. We talked about it earlier, where you have to make better decisions when you're under duress. You were in field goal range, so they could still try to go for the field goal here.
I'm not. Oh, there's Gene Carson. So just like you said, Bowie State's trying to kick the field goal and to attempt to regain the lead, and Gene Carson is 0 for 1 today.
Let's see if he has a chance to redeem himself right now.
Big test for the senior from Accokeek, Maryland.
And it's blocked. Kick was blocked by Carson-Newman. And Carson is frustrated.
That's one of those signature plays in a football game, a block kick with this score being so tied that just keep an eye on that moment in the game. Just keep an eye on that moment in the game that you were down, you said in field goal range, took a sack, make the field goal a little longer. Each point in a game like this in the postseason is critical. So see how this defense responds. They can also create some points or create some momentum for their offense. This is where that defense has to show up right now.
This defense is definitely the heartbeat of this team. They've been keeping the offense in the game for most of this game. And Dendy will take the carry off the right side, and he'll be brought down for a minimal gain.
Jordan Carter made the tackle.
These linebackers for Bowie State definitely have the nose for the football. They've been getting after it, down after down.
Hey, let's go, Black!
Gain of 2 on the play. It's 2nd down and 8 from the 12.
This has become critical territory now. Near the end of the third quarter, going into the fourth quarter. It's back and forth.
Quarterback draw.
Quarterback draw there for Tyler Thackerson to make it 3rd and manageable for Carson-Newman. Playbook wide open for the Eagles. Big defensive play here for the Bulldogs.
3rd down and 4. The Bulldogs can get a stop on this down. That'll be a huge momentum shift.
Under a minute to go, third quarter.
Thackerson looking to pass. Goes it to the other side for Wimbush. He has the catch and blockers in front of him. 1st down and more. Antonio Wimbush going down the sideline, and William Flowers finally knocks him out of bounds at the 35.
Well, Carson-Newman just caught Bowie State sleeping there. Everybody was coming to the near side. That left Antonio Wimbush completely unchecked. There were no black jerseys at all on that side of the field as Carson-Newman picks up a big
30, the 25-yard line.
Yeah, that's another low sleep moment. They lull you to sleep with the option and the draws, and everybody over pursued that one side, and everybody on the other side was open.
And it looks like that might be the last play of the third quarter.
They might just let this one run all the way down till the clock reaches 0. Score is 10-0. Carson-Newman leads. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back for the fourth quarter.
We are back for the fourth and final quarter of play here at the NCAA Regional Playoffs. Bowie State trails Carson-Newman 10-9. Eagles with a 1st and 10 at the Bowie State 22-yard line. Big defensive sequence here upcoming for the Bulldogs.
Bulldogs have to somehow come up with a stop here. Carson-Newman rolling with all the momentum right now as they hand it off to Wimbush, who just had that big gain on 3rd down off the screen pass.
Yeah, well, Wimbush and the other Carson-Newman running backs, especially Troy Dendy. They've been slipping through the tiniest little cracks in the Bowie State defensive line, breaking all kinds of tackles, and they've just been a big problem for the Bulldogs from a matchup standpoint this entire second half.
Yeah, the matchup has definitely been in the trenches today. And that's a minimal gain for about 1. So it'll be 3rd and 1 coming up.
So Bowie State can hold them to a field goal here. That's going to be huge for this defense. That's going to be huge for this defense if they can hold them to a field goal here.
This is a real hard-nosed manhood play, 3rd down and 1, and you know Carson-Newman's going to run the ball.
And they do just that. Looks like they got the first down.
The big uglies. That's where the game is won, in the trenches.
Carson-Newman is now 5 of 11 on 3rd down conversions. 1st and goal for Carson-Newman. Now you got to imagine it being 4 down territory for these Eagles. So they hand it off to Wimbush, and Wimbush has a touchdown.
Bowie State having trouble tackling all second half, and there it is again as nobody can lay a hand on Antonio Wimbush as he increases the lead for Carson-Newman.
They got the situation that they wanted, got the play that they wanted, and now they have retaken the lead for the first time since the first quarter. And the PAT is good. 17-9, the Eagles lead over the Bulldogs. We're going to step away for a second. More fourth quarter action on the other side of this break.
Now, if we get a touchdown and 2-point conversion, the game is tied.
And welcome back. So that drive there, I think that scoring drive there was all set up from that 3rd down screen pass for Carson-Newman. Definitely a big chunk play that Bowie State is looking back now. Like, man, I wish we would have had that one.
Right, but you also got to look forward now, too. You know, like, this is gut check time. That's already passed. So now you got to see what this offense is made of now.
Olayinka will return this one. Going on the left side. Makes a cut over to the right, and he'll get swallowed up by a bunch of Eagles.
Well, just like you said, Professor Holder, it is gut check time as Carson-Newman just scored a pivotal touchdown, and now it's time for Bowie State to respond as this is still a 1-score game. If the Bulldogs can get a touchdown and a 2-point conversion, it's tied.
It's 1st and 10, Bulldogs at the 19.
This situation is actually not alien for the Bulldogs as they trailed Shaw 21-9 at one point before coming back to win that game 26-21 on the road.
Brandon, did he say not alien?
Sometimes I can't hear what Evan says sometimes. Loose ball, but wait, they call him down. They call him down.
So Johnson needs to be careful with that football, fellas. He definitely needs to be careful with that football. The problem that you have now for basically an inexperienced playoff quarterback is the fact that you do not want to press. You do not want to play out of your abilities and try to do something that you shouldn't be doing.
I definitely agree with you there, Professor Holder. He definitely has to take care of the ball. Ball security is definitely going to become an issue. He already had the interception in the first half. Now he has to make sure that he just chooses to live to fight another down.
Carson-Newman's defense, an unsung hero of the day for the Eagles. They've been in Bowie State's offensive backfield all day long, getting all up in Jerome Johnson's face.
Absolutely, and pressuring him. A lot of the decisions that Mr. Johnson have had to make is because he's been under duress. That defense has been in his face the entire game.
As you see on the sideline, Gaston Cooper it's like he's warming up. He might be coming in. Johnson takes the snap, looking, fires downfield, and he has his man. Montez Clay with the catch and a Bulldogs first down.
That is a seam route, fellas. That is a seam route.
And seamless execution as Jerome Johnson matriculates the ball to Montez Clay for a huge first down to convert on 3rd and 20.
But the key there on that play, Johnson had time to step up in the pocket and deliver that ball right on the butt.
Right, absolutely. Absolutely. That's the key to that play.
Bowie State's offense just got a shot in the arm. Let's see what they can do with it.
And we have some flags.
That was a beautiful throw. It was a beautiful throw. And what a catch. That catch was Lynn Swanish.
Legal substitution.
What you know about that?
Oh, and now we have a penalty on Carson-Newman.
Aided by
Eagles territory.
Penalties are going to be a killer. How many
They're
penalties?
matriculating downfield.
Yes. How many penalties
Matriculation
is
counter
that?
25.
Yes. How many penalties is that? That's another one for Carson-Newman.
That's number 7.
Penalty. 7.
For 45 yards.
First down and 5 for Bowie State.
Into Eagles territory.
He'll hand it off to Wilkins. Wilkins makes a cut back to the left side, keeps his legs turning, and he has almost enough for another first down.
Well, we have the local baseball team in town had a saying all season long, stay in the fight. And that's exactly what Bowie State's doing right now. And especially what Khalil Wilkins did on that last play. He fought, they called him just short of the first. I give it to Wilkins again here. Second and a credit call.
They'll make a check from the sideline from Coach Reed. Johnson adjusting at the line of scrimmage. 23 seconds left on the play clock. He gets it, bobbles the snap, but then he just takes off with it off the right side. Makes one man miss. Jerome Johnson cuts it back inside, and he's brought down at about the 31-yard line.
Jerome Johnson is a playmaker. Even after he bobbles a snap like he just did, he'll find a way to make a play. He made a play on 3rd and 20, and he just made a play on 2nd down and an eyelash to pick up 10. And Bowie State has a pulse to him.
Did your son just say eyelash?
He said eyelash, right. And he said credit card, I think a couple of other plays ago. I'm just trying to keep up, Brandon. I'm trying to keep up. I know I've raised you all, but he's just taking it to another level.
But you ain't teaching that.
He's taking it off the reservation. But it works for him. It works for him. I got credit cards, I have alien, and I have eyelash.
Well,
all we're missing is bundles now. Oh, and Johnson's pass intended for Jordan Clark goes incomplete.
Another penalty. Mark it on the tally. That's another penalty.
Interference on Desmond Farrell.
That's another penalty.
Oh, but it looks like it's going on Bowie State.
This game is not clean at all.
That's interference. Offense, number 9. 15-yard penalty. 3 minutes first down.
Definitely was over his head, but I think the interference happened before the ball was on its way. So now it'll still be first down, but it'll be 1st and 25. And the thing that you want to do here in this situation, you don't want to try to get all of it back in one play. Just a little chunk here, a little chunk there. Methodically move your way down the field.
Would you say matriculate?
Not on this instance. And on first down, Johnson takes a sack.
Johnson is sacked. Loss of 6 yards.
Well, Bowie State was moving the ball so well, and then the pass interference penalty happened. Now a sack, and now they're facing 2nd down in Bulldog Stadium.
It'll be 2nd and 31. 9 minutes and 7 seconds to go and ticking. Left to go in the regulation. Johnson takes the snap, dropping back. Fires left side, has Deshaun David, who eats a hit and is trying to turn back upfield. So now it'll be a big 3rd down coming up. Let's see if Jerome Johnson can work some more of that magic we saw in that 3rd down pass to Montez Clay to set up where they are now in Eagles territory.
Well, Johnson converted on a 3rd and 20 earlier this drive, and now he faces 3rd and 25.
3rd down and 25 at the 45-yard line.
3rd and 25. Takes the snap. Johnson looking, has all day to throw. Now he'll just take off and run with it. Now he heaves it downfield, and he has Darius Bowman coming across the formation for a Bulldogs 1st down.
Well, Jerome Johnson was dangerously close to an illegal forward pass, but he checked his spot on the field, stepped back, and found Darius Bowman wide open. And if you're Carson-Newman, how do you give up something that open? That had to be a miscommunication in coverage.
Red zone alert.
Bowie State converted on 3rd and 20 and 3rd and 25 on the same drive.
Johnson looking downfield, and he finds another receiver. And it's Montez Clay on the catch.
Johnson's pass complete to Clay. At the 10-yard
Now we got a
line.
2nd and 3.
So it's a 2nd and 3 coming up from the 10.
Brandon, I don't think this goes without saying, but don't rule out the QB run.
Johnson taking the snap, and he will do just that, or try to do that, but he'll get brought down behind the line of scrimmage.
Well, even despite the sack, this looks like a 3rd and 5, which is still manageable.
Empty backfield for Johnson. 3 to the left, 1, 2 to the right. He'll take the snap, looking left, still looking.
All day.
Rolling down to his right, fires up into the end zone. Incomplete.
That was dangerous.
That was good coverage there by Carson-Newman and a good play by Antonio Henderson to break the pass up. Decision time now for the Bulldogs.
Coach Wilson has a decision to make. Looks like he will keep the offense on the field on 4th down and 6.
Jordan Clark just came into the game, and Brandon, you're right, the Bulldogs are going for it.
Bulldogs receivers have a lot of cushion in front of them. Johnson taking the snap, fires, no good.
Bowie State wants interference on Bernard Scott, but they're not going to get it.
They're not going to get it. They're not going to get it. That was good defense. That was good defense.
And that puts even more pressure on Bowie State's defense to force a stop, to get a stop at a crucial point in the game.
Intended for Clark. Jones defending on the play. Carson-Newman will take over at the 13-yard line, 1st and 10.
Well, Bowie State scored 9 points in the 1st quarter and has been crickets since then.
So now Carson-Newman, they will have the ball deep into their own territory. Right now, I say it's gut check time for the Bulldogs.
Oh, yeah. Under 7 minutes left in the 4th quarter. This is where that defense has got to show up.
And speaking of defense, that was a TFL in the backfield. Think Oeleke or Jenafuja was on that tackle.
As Bowie State's defensive line stirs through the backfield, and Tyler Thackerson just didn't have time for a play to develop, so he had to eat that one at the line of scrimmage for no gain. And now for Carson-Newman, they're trying to run the clock down as much as they can.
Defense needs to have not only a stop, they need to force a turnover.
Another run. This time they will hand it off to Winbush. And he'll gain about maybe 2 or 3 on the play.
They'll give him 3, and this is a huge play right here for Bowie State's defense.
This is the third down.
If you can force a 3 and out.
Bulldog faithful are coming alive. They got to watch out for the screen.
Watch the screen. That's what burned Bowie State on the last third down.
This is where all those games to get home field advantage comes to play right here. They're running this clock.
They're going to use the timeout.
Use a timeout, looks like. Yeah, they're going to take a timeout here to rethink this one over.
Carson-Newman.
Carson-Newman's going to take a timeout, so they'll have 2 remaining. Bowie State has 3. So in this situation, guys, with 5 minutes and 10 seconds left to go in the fourth, what type of play do you draw up if you're Carson-Newman? Because Bowie's going to definitely be expecting or trying to key on that screen setup.
If I'm Carson-Newman, honestly, I play action and throw a deep ball because that's what Bowie State will not be expecting.
Yeah,
they've only done it one time today.
Yeah, they only had like one deep shot that paid off for their first touchdown.
And if I'm Bowie State, I'm saying to myself, expect the unexpectable. You know, because at this point, you have to expect, because you've seen it all before. You saw the screen, you saw everything, so you have to have your head on a swivel for anything.
And if I'm Bowie State defensively on this play, I'm pinning my ears back and sending the house at Tyler Thackerson.
So we will see what they decide to do on this next play call. Bulldog Nation
right, here we go.
Getting rowdy. Here we go. Third down. 3rd and 6. They'll hand it off. And the Bulldogs get the stop.
Here we go. Bowie State's going to get the ball with under 5 minutes to go and still a one-score game.
And Bowie State calls time out.
Fellas, here we go.
After the play.
This is what we want all season long. We wanted a close game, and now it's here.
I didn't want one. You wanted one. You blame me.
I think I brought this for you guys. An exciting game. I brought the excitement.
We couldn't thank you enough, Professor Holder.
This has been fun. This has been really fun.
Yeah, it's been a fun stressor. My God.
And while we have time and a moment to breathe, Professor Holder, would you care to enlighten us on SportsNest, the sports broadcasting program at Prince George's Community College?
Well, when I went to school at Temple University, I had that's how I got my start, working on a show called Temple Update. And I said I wanted to bring something like that to Prince George's Community College. And it gave you and Brandon and a whole bunch of people who are now at Bowie State an opportunity to get their feet wet in broadcasting. And this year's going to be no different. So I'm hoping more and more PGCC Owls become Bulldogs.
Well spoken, Professor.
And this one is booted deep. And they mistakenly touched it, but Bowie State was able to fall on it. That was Tevin Singleton.
That was a lapse of play on Tevin Singleton. That was almost a costly mistake for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, you talk about offense, defense, and special teams. That special teams was about to be the story of this game.
Special teams, turnovers, second chances, all that wrapped into this thing we call playoff football.
Yeah.
Johnson still in the game. Empty backfield. He'll take the snap. Looking. Fires over the middle, and it's incomplete. Intended for Deshaun David.
That pass might have been a little bit behind Deshaun David, but when the ball hits your hands, you have to catch it. And that was an untimely drop and a big moment for Deshaun David.
So it'll be 2nd down and 10. So they'll bring Wilkins into the backfield to Johnson's left, where the trips look to the right. They'll send a blitz. Johnson fires. It's David. He has the catch. Almost enough, and he has enough for a Bulldogs first down.
Well, Deshaun David runs a short little 8-yard route to catch the ball and fights forward for the last 2 yards for a big Bulldogs first down.
Yeah, Deshaun David is no small guy. That's a big boy.
Oh, no, he is not. He is 6'3", 230.
Hey, there's a lot of big boys on that field. Oh, that's
Carson-Newman
offside.
got caught trying to guess the snap. Free play.
play.
And Johnson will live to fight another down.
Well, to Johnson's credit, even if he threw an interception, it wouldn't have counted because of the penalty. So he could have went for broke there.
I don't think he had an option because he was wheeling out of bounds on the his opposite throwing arm.
So this will give the Bulldogs offense some more life. 1st and 5. In the last couple of plays, though, Carson-Newman, they have been sending at least one backer from either side up the A-gap to try to throw off Johnson's timing. Looks like they're going to probably try to send another one, too. And here it is. Johnson up the pocket, incomplete.
Oh, he had Deshaun David wide open on the sideline and just overthrew him. Or he could have ran for the first down, too.
He could have.
But if you're Jerome Johnson, you got to bury that play. 4 minutes, 16 seconds left. It's 2nd down and 5. This is still doable. You just got to move on to the next play.
Next play mentality. Got to forget about what just occurred and look for a new opportunity. Wilkins will check in again on the left of Johnson. Johnson takes the snap. Looking, fires. Incomplete, intended for Jordan Clark.
Wow, Carson-Newman is taking some big gambles on defense, sending the house, as Evan has said, more than one occasion. If Bowie State can find a way to exploit that, it's going to be interesting.
And that looked like a miscommunication on that last play between Jerome Johnson and Jordan Clark, because Clark's back was turned on that play, and that was nearly an interception for Jamarian McDonald.
It'll be 3rd down and 5. Carson-Newman's going to send a blitz again, and they got them. Free play. Bowman has it, but will they call it a touchdown? They still let the ball. They still let the play go, and it looked like
referees are huddling up.
We'll see what the verdict is here.
I think I saw Carson-Newman move first.
So the Bulldogs get a fresh set of downs, but the free play that looked like a touchdown they won't get.
But that's still a defensive penalty, which can kill a defense.
How many penalties is that now? That should be 7 or 8.
That's
that
8.
So I think he was so wide open because I think they relaxed after the whistle. So the defense for Carson-Newman relaxed after the whistle.
Another blitz. Johnson throws it to Clay, can't hold on.
And Johnson took a hit right there. He took a big time hit right there.
You got to wonder how many more hits like that Jerome Johnson can take.
Yeah, he's not a big man, so he's very wiry. That's the kind of, when you have somebody that slender doing a play option and so mobile like that, you have to think it's going to take a beating on him, on that frame.
Three receivers set to the right, one to the left. Here goes Johnson, progressing up the pocket. He'll just take off and run with it now. Johnson working his magic. Jerome Johnson shoots a man and flies over down to the 6. First down, Bulldogs.
Wow. Wow.
How's that for a slender body?
Wow.
Jerome Johnson. What more can we say? It's just like I've been saying all season long, Brandon. All he does is make plays, and he just made another one, and he's down.
Johnson is down.
He's down.
To talk about that slender build, he went right after the contact. He didn't shy away from the contact.
Oh, it looked like he was trying to juke it. He was trying to figure out a way, which way he wanted to go.
Yeah.
But fell right in the waiting arms of a Carson-Newman defender.
So sliding is not in his vocabulary.
It was, but
Carson.
He's bleeding from his
bleeding from his
nose. It looks like.
Nose.
So Gaston Cooper will come in on this upcoming first down.
We last saw Gaston Cooper in action in our last broadcast against Lincoln. He played the second half. Jerome Johnson rested after the first half was a little bit lopsided.
So impressed with this young man.
Showing his toughness and his willingness to continue to fight.
Absolutely, and you know he's going to be in this game in a matter of moments.
Gaston Cooper checks in. He takes the snap, looking, fires left. He was looking for Deshaun David. It was incomplete.
They need to get him back in the game, and here he comes. Johnson needs to get back in this game.
Ladies and gentlemen, here comes Johnson.
You need to get him back in this game.
It'll be second and goal.
Jerome Johnson has his helmet on.
You need to get him back in this game. He's petitioning to the coaches now, get me in.
It looks like Gaston Cooper for one more play because Jerome Johnson is standing there right next to the coaches with his helmet on.
Cooper making a check at the line of scrimmage. Takes the snap. Cooper avoids pressure, rolling right, stiff arms a man, and gets out of bounds. He'll gain about maybe 3 on the play.
Here comes Johnson.
Now here comes Jerome Johnson.
To finish what he started.
2 plays to work with. At the 5-yard line, down by 8, 3 minutes to go.
Everybody's standing here at Bulldog Stadium.
Not one person is sitting down. They are all in on this third down and goal. Jerome Johnson takes a snap, looking left, fires, and it's picked off. Picked off by the Eagles.
There's flags on the play.
But there's some dirty laundry on the play.
But it looks like that was after the interception, though. That might be the knockout blow, Brandon.
It might be. Well, we have a player down on the other end of the field. Looks like it's Montez Clay.
Looks like it might be an unexpected and heartbreaking ending to what was a historic season for the Bulldogs.
Clay is still down. So Carson-Newman will take over possession of the ball. But right now, all the attention is on Montez Clay as he is shaken up. So we'll step away for just a moment here. You're watching the CIAA Sports Network. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen.
I said this defense needs to come up with a stop.
One last chance for Bowie State's defense.
They need to come up with a stop. What they got? Evan, like you said, if I am the coach now, I'm sending the house.
Sending the house on 3 straight plays.
Because if you can get a safety or if you can turn over something.
If you can get a safety, then watch out.
Yeah.
And you still have 2 timeouts left.
They did them before. They're going to send both linebackers.
This game is not over.
Not quite over just yet. They'll hand it off to Wimbush. And Wimbush will get some yardage. He gets to about maybe the 10.
Well, that takes away the safety.
So the scouting report on Carson-Newman is that they're going to run the ball in the shadow of their own end zone. That's what they're going to go to Wimbush to get them out of the shadows.
Bowie State calls timeout. Bowie State actually had him around the 6-yard line, but just couldn't bring him down.
Yeah?
He's 5'10", 210 out of Kingsland, Georgia.
What you get? There were so many back and forth moments here. Momentum shifts up and down.
Playoff football game. That's what we had. We had a playoff football game where and we can go back and look at a lot of different things. But I'm telling you, at the end of the day, both coaches are going to look at the number of penalties as one of the factors in this game.
Second chance opportunities.
So let's see what this defense can come up with.
Bulldogs defense still trying to stay in the fight. They'll hand it off again to Wimbush, and he has enough for a first down.
Bowie State only has one timeout, 2 minutes and 30 seconds left, so now that Carson-Newman got the first down, you got to wonder. There is no 2-minute warning in college football.
Well, they're just in CIAA Division 2, I guess. Yeah, first down. They'll hand it off again to Wimbush. Wimbush finds a hole and gets another first down.
Yeah. He's the only person that's going to be touching his football from here on out. So you got to strip him. That's their bread. That's their bread. That's their bread and their butter. There's nobody on this field that's going to be touching that ball except Wimbush.
For injury of the defense, number 34. He must come out of the game for one play.
So Dumas will come out for one play. Like he's a little gimpy there on that right leg.
Carson-Newman's going to run this clock down. They're going to snap the ball with about a minute left.
They're going to try to take a lot of it off the clock.
First down and 10.
Here we go. Another handoff. This time it's to Dendy. No, excuse me. That is. It's tough to see.
That was
Dendy. So Bowie State is out of timeouts now. And without those timeouts, they cannot stop the clock. So it looks like they might have to put a bow on this one. All right, so we got a couple more downs here. Bowie State's defense, they're ready to go. They're ready to get it in this last minute and 7 seconds. But a couple of things are coming to my mind right now when I look back over what transpired over the course of this game. They had the missed field goal before the half that would have given them a little bit more points before Carson-Newman scored in the third.
And in addition, you had when Bowie State started from the 50-yard line and went 3 and out.
That as well. Opportunities caused by turnovers, you have to come away with points in those situations. So it'll be 3rd down and one under 50 seconds to go here.
Carson-Newman only has to run one more snap.
So they will line up in the victory formation. And that will probably do it there.
A heartbreaking end to a historic season. 11-0, first undefeated season in school history, second CIAA championship. But when you're Bowie State, you have a lot to look forward to next season. Jerome Johnson's coming back. You have Dimitri Morcell and Joshua Pryor. Both of them still have 2 years left. So for Bowie State, you learn from this, and you have to come back stronger next season.
Yep. Carson-Newman will take this one by a score of 17-9. So they will move on in the Super Region 2 playoff brackets, while Bowie State, they'll just have to try to look at some of the positives that took place during this game and try to get ready for what's to come next season. But not to say that they didn't try to make this a game, because they definitely had their opportunities to. But when you have opportunities where you don't take advantage of points off of turnovers, when you throw turnovers, and when you don't finish drives with touchdowns, you can't expect to come out with a victory.
I mean, prime example of missed opportunities. Bowie State had 410 yards of total offense today and only scored 9 points.
Right. So things that stood out to me, gentlemen, is 15 penalties in this game for 140 yards. That's one of the tales of this game. And again,
10 of those were for Carson-Newman too.
Right. So again, it wasn't a pretty game, but again, these teams were both scoring over 40 points a game, and to see a 17-9 game is kind of interesting. But it had everything you wanted. If whether you were a Bowie State fan or Carson-Newman fan, if you're a football fan, that had a lot of what you wanted to see in a playoff football game. So unfortunately, for the second year in a row, the Bowie State, they had this third year in a row they've had a home playoff game. For the second year in a row, they've lost that game. But again, you have to look at how the future is going to be bright. You got to hope that your coach is still around. You got to hope that a lot of pieces are still in play, because Damon Wilson is doing an unbelievable job preparing these young men. And, hats off to Carson-Newman. They played a great game. Bowie State played a great game as well. Got to go back over that interception and find out what he was looking at. And we're here in the box trying to find out what he was looking at on that play. But now they're saluting the fans, and rightfully so. This Bowie State nation has come out for this team game after game, season after season now, and it's just been the sky's still the limit. So I thank you guys for having me come out here and experience this. This was fun being in the booth.
Always a pleasure.
It was great having you here today. Hopefully we get to do this again sometime.
I feel like I brought some bad news, man. I come to the booth and y'all lose.
Nobody bring me no bad news.
Oh, man.
But like you said, in certain situations where it is playoff football, a lot of things are a little bit more amplified because of the of what's on the line, what's at stake. You're fighting now for the NCAA championship in a bracket.
Yeah. And you look at some of those plays, that field goal that didn't happen, and the interception at the end. You take a lot of those and you think back, but at the end of the day, they were close. They were close. There was no blowout. They were close. Don't get no moral victories for that. But you have to say to yourself, again, as you were saying, Evan, that the future is bright. If Johnson's back next year, you got a lot of parts, and he's recruiting at such a high level that it just looks like they're not going to rebuild, just reload here at Bowie State University.
And, of course, the main thing is to reload, because you will have a lot of teams in the CIAA that will be coming hard for Bowie State's title. You got Fayetteville State, who Bowie State knocked off in the CIAA championship the last 2 years. You have an up-and-coming program in Shaw, North Carolina. And, of course, you got the Virginia schools, Virginia State and Virginia Union, who will each want another crack at the Bulldogs. So a lot to look forward to for next season, but an unfortunate ending today.
Yep, an unfortunate ending that brings the Bulldogs to 11-1, but still nothing to take away from the historic season that they've had.
And that's still the best record in Bowie State history.
2 back-to-back CIAA championships. Yes, they will feel the effects of this loss for a while, but they the upside of what is to come in the future is definitely bright. It's definitely bright for this team. So we're going to wrap things up here, and I want to thank you guys for letting me do my final football game here at Bulldog Stadium. Although it wasn't a win, still was a great game. Couldn't ask for much to be here with my teacher, my broadcast partner. Thank you, Lorenzo. Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Big John up top. Y'all are just cruel for throwing Big John out in the cold like that. He's going to get you off of that. But signing off until basketball season.
Before we sign off, I'm a hometown kid, man. I'm right here. I'm from right here in Bowie, Maryland. This was my first year calling games for Bowie State, and I want to thank you guys for tuning in, for showing me a lot of love and support on social media, and like saying that you like my calls and all that. Because just so y'all know, Brandon's leaving next year, and we're sad to see him go, but I'm coming right back. I ain't going nowhere.
Y'all
I ain't going nowhere.
That's the bad news.
Hey, I'm proud of both of you.
Bad for who?
I'm proud of both of y'all. Y'all have taken everything that I've taught you, and you brought it to another level. Brandon, I wish you all the success in the world. Evan, I know you're going to do great things. I love the way you come back to Prince George's Community College and give of your time, which is what I've always taught you. And again, if you put in the work, just like they do on the football field, if you put in the work, broadcasts become easy. They become fun. That broadcast, the halftime with Dr. Bro and Mr. Clyde Dowdy was awesome for me to show you guys how to do interviews at halftime. So it was great. I'm really, really proud of you guys, and I really appreciate all the help from the staff here. I really appreciate y'all having me.
All right, signing off, y'all. We'll see you basketball season. That's coming up right around the corner. Signing off for the last time. Brandon Williams alongside Evan Johnson and Lou Holder. See you guys next time.